So I seen a post today about dirt and germs being better than hand sanitizer. Got me thinking about the medical industry, the health service. If we go back in time, the health service was a group of men first they would have built shelter, they would have got injured, they would have suffered in the extreme heat and the extreme cold. Their bodies would be attacked by microorganisms and such like. So they would stop working and they would help their fellow man. Because you fell, you fell, you hurt yourself. So they would have built shrines to the dead. They might have tried to leave a message how they died. At the shrine. That would be the first logical thing to do. This person died due to such and such. Then that would have led on to building a separate place. We call them hospices. So the most logical thing that they done was to build one of them. Once they built one of them, they would have experimented, they would have tried everything to save their fellows. Then the women would have been helping, obviously, and the men would teach the women, and when there was like a fallen man, the men could continue on working and providing more shelter, growing more food, making more wine, making more beer. Then the men, they experimented on themselves, and whilst they were out and about, and they experimented with everything to try and find cures. They gave all that information to the women. So then the women having all this information, the men busy working and thinking about creational things, thinking about the soil, thinking about the water, thinking about the elements, thinking about the best time to pick a seed, best time to plant a seed, best way to store a seed, best way to get a seed to sprout. The types of different seeds, how to reveal the seeds. That's a lot of knowledge. And to identify the seed, you've got to know the whole plant. That's a lot of knowledge to know. Then you've got to learn how to protect your crops. So it's building again, so like constructing a barrier to protect your food for wild animals. So then you've got to identify animals. You've got to identify things our scale level, larger and smaller. You've got to know if they're beneficial, what time they're beneficial, how to look after all of them. Just identifying every one of them is quite a difficult task. There's a lot of different microbes, a lot of different enobas, and there's a lot to know. A lot of disorders, because all of that things are disorders, and that disordered things have an influence, and their sphere of influence gets into us, and that's what causes us to have a disease. Now, I would say the majority of people have a disease of the mind, because if you are a member of or connected to the hospitals as they are at the moment, or the military forces, the government, anyone just now that's governing, connected to them and profiting from them, then you're doing yourself a disjustice. You are diseased. Now, that disease was formulated a long time ago. The women mastered the ailments and things, and they know about they know more about, they kept secrets basically, and they used their medical knowledge against men. And that was just to steal everything they had, everything, and take over. So they knew that if they were to have ill people, that they would have access to all the resources, and they know that some of them will block the access to resources if they knew what was going on. So they used their medical knowledge to poison them, and then claiming on their behalf their portion of what was stored up. This happens, well, you can see it, divorces and separations and things, that people are getting conned, they're getting scammed. But I realise what it is, they don't want to be doing it, they don't want that to happen to themselves. But we all fall into mispractice, even in thought alone. It's true for the say, you do have to do the action. The thought alone has a massive power of influence. And I'd say if you're an influential person, you've got to be aware of that sphere of influence 101% of the time. Well, more than 100% of the time, because you'd have to be projecting your sphere of influence into foreverness. And inward for foreverness. So a highly influential person would be sort of like a pearl. But not a pearl. It would be, so goodness, maybe that's what it is actually. But it's knowing how to get that form. I suppose women love shiny pearls. And if you think about it, it's near the, if you think of the oysters, when you put an agitator in like a piece of rugged sand, and it calcifies around it and tries to smooth the sharp edges so it doesn't cut into its skin anymore. Just think of us, what do we do if the world was an oyster? We'd be just broken shards that have just landed here and bounced around. Got broken up and just deformed, I suppose. Everything that's impacted deforms a bit. So then the world would have to try and round us off so that we don't dig into it and cause it structure to suffer, you could say. So the world being a living thing, as all things are, it would try to calcify around you. That's weird. Like I can just really feel my skeleton just now, especially on my forearms. I like feel the marrow. I can see like a cross section through my right forearm. So you could say Earth and Self are both trying to keep round. Right, we're all connected. So let's just say you are all me. And let's just say, oh well, we're all part of the same thing. And let's just say we were in the moon and we all came here together. We got fired out the sun. And we went to this planet here, misjudged it, and hit it. And so we hit this planet and caused it. Well, we could have caused it trouble, but then we might have hit in the right place. It maybe needed to get hit. That's what we would have done. Maybe there was a great big, like, hospital or something, a great big structure, huge structure, and that was taking all the resources and everything, and it was unbalancing the world. So if I was to put that into the world's perspective, it had been wounded. And can I remember my dad having a dagger through the heart? No, it's a dagger on the Scotland flag. Oh, St Andrew. So St Andrew's Church is a bad thing. A very bad thing. I suppose every church is a bad thing just now. They're speaking bullshit to us. Every government, every institution are all speaking rubbish to you.